Okay, so in this video, I'm going to try and simplify a very complicated topic. But with the recent increases in dividend tax, a lot of people are asking the question, am I better off taking a larger director's salary over the minimum amount I've been taking instead of more dividends? And I just want to clarify in this video, in most cases, probably not, but I'll give an example of the times when you should do it and when not. Just to create some context here, let's talk about how much tax you pay in either scenario. So we're not talking about your personal allowance here. In either scenario, you'll need to take some salary to use up your personal allowance. That's a separate video in terms of how much your basic salary at that rate should be anyway. But this is about what happens when you take your minimum salary as a director and whether or not you take more. Dividend tax rate is going up to 10.75% in April 26. It was 8.75%, and that's what's triggered this entire discussion. But let's just do some basic maths here. Firstly, corporation tax is 19%, and then 10.75% pro rata to factor in the tax after tax is actually about 9%. So 19% plus 9% is about 28%. It's actually 27.7%. Okay, now if you were to take a larger salary, what you do is you pay income tax and then you pay employees' national insurance. So that'd be 20% plus 8%. So you got 28% on one hand compared to 28% on the other. The tax rate is pretty much the same. Now, this is where it differs though. If you took a larger salary, you may end up paying employers' national insurance on that. If you don't have any employment allowance left or you didn't qualify for that employment allowance, you will end up paying employers' national insurance on it. That is not good. That's an extra 15% tax on that salary over and above that 28% you're already paying at the basic rate, and same for dividends and corporation tax. So if you end up not having employment allowance available, definitely don't take a higher salary. Also, one other thing to factor in is taking a higher salary uses up your basic rate of tax much faster than a dividend does. And the reason for that is the dividend is calculated after you've already paid corporation tax, and that's how much of your basic rate it uses up. On the other hand, the higher salary is calculated before you've paid income tax and national insurance, and that's how much of your basic rate it uses up. So you can make a lot more money and take home a lot more money at the basic rate taking dividends than you can by taking a salary. In addition, you might have a lot of savings income, like interest income. Dividends don't count as earned income for working out if you qualify for your additional rate of savings, whereas a larger salary does. So there are a lot of factors here to say, actually, you might not be better off taking that salary. You should probably stick to the dividends. Now, I will quickly just go into a couple of pros about when a salary could make sense. Firstly, if you do qualify for your employment allowance and you've got it remaining and you just want to get to a point where you don't have to bother doing self-assessments anymore, it might make sense for you because then you don't have to pay for the self-assessment. You don't have to do the self-assessment. That might just be easy for you by taking that larger salary. And if you're nowhere close to the higher threshold, then it might not be a problem whatsoever. Another scenario is if your corporation tax rate is 25%, not 19%, then when you add the corporation tax plus the dividend tax, actually you'll end up paying more tax than if you took the larger salary. At that point, you might be better off taking a larger salary. And really, those are the only two scenarios I can think of right now. In most other cases, sticking with the dividends are still the best option you've got. Okay, if you got any questions about this, by the way, as I said at the beginning of the video, it's a very complex topic. I haven't factored in if you're a high rate payer in this conversation. I haven't factored in if you've got other sources of income in this conversation. They all impact this. So definitely get in touch if you do need to know what else there is to it. I'll see you at the next video.